Step 1.
I have a number 12 fine wire standard length dry fly hook in the vise, and I'm using dark olive 8/0 pre-waxed thread to form a foundation for the fly.
Step 2.
I'm going to use some white Zelon fibers to form an undertail, or the first part of the tail.
How long do you want that in relation to the hook?
Those fibers should be about the length of the shank of the hook.
Step 3.
I'm going to take a dry fly, like a number 1 or number 2 dry fly grizzly hackle, and I'm going to cut the tip and lay it down on top of the white Zelon.
What does that imitate?
It's imitating the trailing shuck of an adult chironomid.
Step 4.
We're going to take some mule deer or whitetail body hair. We need about 15 to 20 deer hair fibers to form the shell back. So once we cut the hair off the hide, we want to brush out the underfur and the shorter fibers.
Step 5.
We're going to put the deer hair into a stacker, a hair stacker, tips down to kind of even up the lengths of the individual fibers. Now deer hair is hollow, so we're using it for its buoyant capability. I'm going to trim the tips and then tie the hair in just behind the eye of the hook.
What part of the fly does this represent?
This is going to be the shell back in the end, but we're going to also use the deer hair to form a bit of an underbody as well. So I'm not cinching the fibers down too hard because we want to leave some of the air in the hollow fibers intact to act as more buoyancy.
Step 6.
Going to use some dubbing wax on the tying thread, which will form the foundation for laying a base of dark olive antron, which will spin on to the tying thread, and this will form the body of the fly. And you can see it's fairly slender.
Does the color matter on this fly?
Most of the adult chironomids are darker in color, like dark olive or black in color. Those are very common, or dark chocolate brown.
Step 7.
We're going to take our deer hair, pull it together, and then form a nice tight shell back, pull down on it, and we're tying it down about a quarter of the way back from the eye of the hook. We want to leave room to put in our dry fly hackle, which will help keep the fly afloat.
Step 8.
I'm giving a few extra wraps of tying thread to secure the shell back in place and also lock in those extra fibers I left.
Step 9.
We now take a single dry fly hackle from a grizzly cape, tying in by the butt section, and then winding a hackle.
What does this do for the fly?
This adds a lot of stability when it lands on the water and keeps it in an upright position.
Does it represent wings or anything? Or?
No, it represents the legs of the adult chironomid as it skims across the surface of the water.
Step 10.
And we're going to take our whip finisher now and finish the fly off at the head end of the fly.
Step 11.
Just going to take our scissors and trim off any of the fibers of antron that are sticking out or not in place to make the body that much more slender, and then trim the hackle. This is the Lady McConnell adult chironomid imitation, which can also be used to imitate an adult mayfly.